Scott, safe to say the Canadiens gave you your money's worth tonight in terms of making you work for that victory?
Yeah, I think we also we put them on their heels quite a bit too. I mean, it was a pretty entertaining game.
Yeah.
A lot of specialty teams kind of turned it a little bit, but real proud of both of our units there. Our power play and our penalty kill really stepped up tonight, and I really liked our effort. I thought it was a really good bounce back from what we had done the other night against Vegas. It was a real solid win.
All three of your goals, excluding the empty net, are just some great puck movement and kind of passing leading up to it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there was every one of them were. There were plays where guys found the open guys, and there was. I think the chances ended up being 13-13. There was both teams had some other looks, and I thought both goaltenders were real good and had to. Were there for to make the stops to keep that close.
And just on that, you've seen Connor Hellebuyck make a number of spectacular saves, but where does that the one-timer where he doesn't have his stick, gets the blocker, and then kind of catches the pop fly, that must be high on the list of ones you've seen?
Yeah, there's some exciting stuff happen when out there with him. He does, he's always on pucks. He's always has a ability to kind of recognize what's kind of coming, what the next sort of situation's going to happen, and he always seems to know where it is. I'm looking all over trying to find it half the time, and he knows where it's in the back, right in his gloves.
Your Hellebuyck faced about 4 power play shots from line A, and obviously, penalty kill pre-scouts and whatnot, you're knowing that the one-timer's there, but on each of those shots, he was pretty square and positioned on them. Do you think that's a matter of familiarity with the player, or just Hellebuyck's studying of opponents? I'm just curious what you thought on it.
I think he knows the opponent pretty well.
Yeah.
Probably saw him an awful lot in practice, but for us, no matter if it's it's line A, it's OV, there's certain players that that they're going to get their looks. We're kind of setting it up so that Helly is waiting for it. We don't want multiple options happening, whether it's into the slot or maybe it's the other flanker getting the shot. If Helly knows where where the shot's going to end up, he's set. He doesn't have to come from the other side of the ice and slide across to make a save, and so we don't want it to go, in that case to Laine. But at the end of the day, we took away the other options, and that's where it ended up. And if he can see it and he can front and get himself big, he usually stops it.
The Adam Lowry goal, obviously a nice play by Nito before. Is that just a kind of a poster example of what you guys want more of at 5-on-5 and what's made you successful this year?
Yeah, and I think there was some other good examples of that we didn't do against Vegas, where we did throw them. We threw some pucks in there and kind of created the explosion like we've talked about, created the sort of got Montreal on the run a little bit, but that was a nice play, and where Lau scored it from. Those are the hard areas. I didn't think we did enough of that. The other night against Vegas, I thought in the first, Vladdy's line had a couple of great looks there, hacking and whacking in around there. Even Scheif and those guys were, with KC, they threw some in there, and we went into those areas, and that's what you have to do. As the games get harder and teams get tougher, they're not going to give you easy slot line, sort of easy backdoor plays. You got to go in those areas and get those goals.
The Nemesnikov line almost setting an example, and those are three of the smallest forwards that you have. Can you use that as a coach? Does that fire you up, or does that fire players up?
And that's been the kind of just those guys, their MO. Even when Fly's with those guys, Ehlers, when he plays them, they're not all big guys and they're not all physical guys, but they use their quickness to steal pucks, and then they get in there and they look to score in different ways. That line tonight, I thought in the first period was one of our best lines, and they were going against the Dock line, and I think they were looking up at every one of those guys. A couple of times they were out against Anderson and Gallagher line, when those are some big bodies, heavy guys, and I thought they did a fantastic job of getting the zone time and getting those looks.
In the first, actually right from the get, I think you guys probably protected the middle of the ice in your zone maybe better than against Vegas. So what went into that?
We talked about it. We worked on it a little bit. We knew that they were a transition team, some highly skilled defense that really want to be a part of the rush. And if we can, and no matter who the opponent is, if we can keep them to the outside and, allow Helly to handle those ones, not allowing the second and third opportunities in the middle, I thought we did a great job of collapsing back. And if it was that, clearing pucks out of there, or if it was the rush, if the rush chances happened, they came from the wide wings. And like I said, whether that was shot off the angle or whatever, we could handle what happened next.
What's your biggest takeaway from the homestand, taking 5 of the 8 points?
Yeah, I mean, you have to do that, right? You have to take advantage when you're home here. We knew what our trip was going to be all about, the 11-dayer, and, we come home here, you have to take advantage of your crowd. The crowd was a little bit lopsided, but at the end of the day, we took advantage here at home. I think that, it got loud when we got up, and that's what you want. It was pretty crazy in here when Boston was in here the other night as well. So, it's all part of, you have advantages at home, whether that's changes, kind of matchups, those type of things. I just like the way we came out and got our points.
Just quickly, what do you think of Colin Miller's game back in the lineup for you?
That was good. I think that they eat up minutes, and that's big. And there's times where they got out against some of those top six, and you know what? He's a veteran guy. He's been in these situations before, and he's handled it professionally. Thank you.
Thanks.